All traces of his recent reservation and hesitation were well out of the picture today as President Reagan went ahead and signed a Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. national holiday bill. White House correspondent Bill Plante reports.
With no further mention of his earlier reservations, President Reagan today signed the bill which makes Martin Luther King's birthday a national holiday. Just 2 weeks ago, Mr. Reagan said he would have liked an unofficial holiday, such as Lincoln's birthday.
I would have preferred that, but since they seem bent on making it a national holiday, I believe the symbolism of that day is important enough that I'll sign that legislation when it reaches my desk.
At that same news conference and in a letter to a prominent conservative, the president seemed to indicate that Dr. King's patriotism might have been open to question. But today in the Rose Garden, surrounded by Dr. King's widow and dozens of civil rights leaders, Mr. Reagan had only praise for Martin Luther King.
But traces of bigotry still mar America. So each year on Martin Luther King Day, let us not only recall Dr. King, but rededicate ourselves to the commandments he believed in and sought to live every day.
Mrs. King said she had accepted the president's apology for his earlier remarks about her late husband and was pleased with what the president said today.
I am not questioning motives at this point. I think that we have to accept what people say and then we watch what they do.
The Reverend Jesse Jackson, who announced his candidacy for the Democratic presidential nomination, called the signing one of President Reagan's high moments. One who was not so pleased was North Carolina Senator Jesse Helms, who led the fight against the King bill. In a 6-page letter appealing for campaign funds, written and mailed after the bill was passed, Helms repeated his charge that King openly sympathized with the communists. The letter blames the left-wing black establishment for intimidating the Senate and liberals in the news media for not digging out the truth about Martin Luther King. In the Rose Garden, meanwhile, as the president made his way out, shaking hands and smiling, there was a spontaneous burst of song. At first it was just a whisper. Then the voices swelled gradually into a melody not recently heard at the White House. The anthem of the civil rights movement, "We Shall Overcome." Bill Plante, CBS News, the White House.